Good morning, everybody. Happy Saturday. Let's see who's going to come to play today. Let me do some housekeeping on this other device. 9 o'clock Saturday morning. Let's do it. Welcome to the IOD Spring Release Class, Session 2. All right. Let me get myself up here. And here, and here, and here. Let's see. Let's see. Switch accounts. That could be why I can't see anything. Hey, Linda. Good morning. Good morning, Mary. All right. Let me go here. Let me go here. Can't see comments here yet. And I'm not live here. Oh, here I am. Here I am. All right, Charlotte's here. Hey, Sandy. Good morning, Laurel. How are you guys? Hey, Carolyn. Good to see you. All right, so we're going to play, you guys. I want to keep it. I know it's hard. I know I can't do an hour. That's just not even going to happen. But I figured hour and a half to 2. I'm actually on again at noon. On creative hours, so, and I need to do a little bit of prep work. I am going to roll up my sleeves. Let me see if I can see comments here yet. Sometimes it takes a minute. I just need to swipe. Roll my sleeves up. I think I still have paint from last night that I wasn't able to scrub off. And then I was priming last night, priming some molds before I went to bed. So let me see if I can see comments yet. No, not yet, but I can see them here. Hey, sister. How are you, Kathy? I hope Charles is doing better. All right, so let's do this. So today, last week, I wasn't with you last week. I think I was with you the week before in Vegas. We did, what did we do? We did inlays. We did trimmings mold, blossom mold. What else? The bird mold. What else did we do? And I think that's it. So we got a lot of the molds out of the way. We are going to be using the blossom mold again, which I absolutely love, but it's persnickety to paint. It really is. Hey, Wendy. So let's get started. We're going to work on 2 projects simultaneously because, you know, I hate waiting around for things to dry. Good morning, Lynn. Good to see you here. So we're going to be working with the Lost Garden Transfer. I wanted to throw in some of the Wild Bloemen transfer, but it's out of stock and I sold mine. So we probably won't be using that one, but we have plenty of these and I am going to be using these. And then next week will be our last week meeting and I'll try and get all, like, we'll probably do an inlay, the blue and yellow inlay next week, and we'll cover some stamps. I have some really cool things I want to show you about mixing. Let me know in the comments. Do you typically mix your ink colors to get new colors, or do you use what's available? Charles has finally stopped coughing. Awesome. Oh my God, it's so hard. That flu that went around is just, it's horrible. Horrible. I still have remnants of it. So let me know. So I thought if you guys wanted, only if you want, because you may already, you'd be like, nah, not interested. Like Ruth says to me, don't care. I thought I would show you some mixing formulas and maybe, hey, Nancy, please send me your address so we can get your bag out to you, your package. I thought I would show you how to mix some of the inks and the formulas to make your own specific colors. You can make lilac, you can make brown, there's all kinds of things, but only if you guys are interested in that. If not, we still have a few more stamps to explore next week. So we'll meet the same time next Saturday at 9 o'clock. I may move it to 9:30 just because 9 was kind of early, but let's see. I'll let you know. Hey, hey, Anna and Shauna. So first, let me get my camera down. Let me move this down here. I have a new camera stand, so I'm still trying to figure out how to work with it. All right, so we're going to be doing 2 boards, and you can see you'll be in and out. Okay, Christy, going to the winery today. Oh, how fun. Fun, fun, fun. Take me. I'm a big wine drinker. Just because of the sulfates in it, gives me a huge headache. But I do love me a good glass of champagne. Just saying. Good morning, Gladys and Robin. Hello, hello. Yes, is that yes on the inks? You guys want to mix some ink colors and learn how to make your own colors? Let me know in the comments. I started with this flat tag board. We do have these in our shop. I just grabbed it because it's a large enough surface. I do want to add some texture in the background because, you know, it looks like I missed a spot. I'm a bit of a texture junkie. So before we start, we're going to add some cracking paste to this, and then we're going to set it to the side and we're going to work on our next board. So another reason why I jump around so much, I think I am. If you have one of these are great, not only to mix paint, but to spread. They're flexible. They come in a 2-pack. They do come in a 2-pack, and they're really great for paint. They're great for applying texture mediums. They're good for a lot of things, but they are big. The little one, yes, on the ink. Okay, the little one that comes in the pack is probably about this size. So it's a really nice size, and it actually fits into your DIY paint jars. But because I want to cover a large surface, I'm just wondering if I should just use my trowel. I think I will just use my trowel. Let me grab some. Hang on. I tried to get everything out on my table that I thought I would gonna need. Yes, I'm mixing. Okay. Yeah, because you know what? I mean, there's like, I don't know how many colors. Let me show you. The last time we did a release, we did a whole thing on stamps. We did a really big class on stamps, and really like an intro class. And I don't really want to have to keep doing the same class over and over with every release. But so far, these are the colors that they come in right now. So there's tomato, there's ocean's deep, there's turmeric, there's new grass, there is stone gray, there is black, and china blue. But what if you wanted lavender? What if you wanted brown? What if you wanted pink? What if you wanted coral? So I can show you that if you guys want. I have a bunch of empty bottles that I purchased just in case anybody wanted to follow along next week. So they do carry empty bottles that you can write your mixings down on. And I did just get a little bit of a scale. Because sometimes you can do like, okay, 3 droppers of this and 4 droppers of that, but sometimes you squeeze those tubes and more than what you thought was going to come out. Good morning, Matt. Good to see you here. So there's that. Let's get, hopefully I don't have any crunchies. I'm going to do this pretty smooth. And I'm not necessarily going to do a thick layer because I just want a little bit of texture in the background. So this gives me a nice smooth application. If you're using a trowel, you want to go on a 45-degree angle. Is my Dana here? Hi, Dana. Oh my God, Facebook did the weirdest thing. So we're having a workshop in September, right? And right now the tickets are open to our private members first, right? Because there's only 30 seats. And all of a sudden this morning I saw there was like 61 people in the group, and it said that I had invited them. Facebook just decided to put all these people in the classroom. It's like, what? It was the craziest thing. So I had to go back in and try and adjust everything. So if you were put in that classroom and you didn't purchase a ticket, I apologize. I did take you out. Tickets will be available to the public. I know I keep saying in a week or so, but the workshop's not till September. So I'm waiting for Vasilis to get his ticket. He's coming to teach with me from Greece. And he, if you know him at all, he's pretty amazing. All right, let's do the other side. Hi, Donna. No, it's not the new paste. It's just the regular cracking paste. I'm trying to use this because I know most of you have this. And I don't want anybody to feel like they can only work with the new stuff. I want to be able to have you guys use up what you have. You know me, I hate waste. So the new one is specifically made for walls and furniture. It is totally adaptable to smaller products. It is a different texture. It's a little bit fluffier. And this is probably too much for this whole side. Let's do a little less. Let's bring this up here. Oops. Good morning, Linda. I'm excited to see some of you in September. I know a bunch of us were all together in Kansas for a class. And that was super fun. Most of you I knew, a few of you I met for the first time, so I'm looking forward to being together again. Move this over here. So I'm getting a pretty light coat. It's pretty thin because this trowel can spread it pretty thinly. I feel like when I'm using a palette knife, it seems to go thicker. And maybe because I can't cover the surface as well as when I'm using a wider area. So see, I can get a pretty smooth application. All right, I'm going to just take off the excess. I will tell you to batch work your cracking paste projects and make sure that you cover it before you put your lid on, because you don't want to waste this, and it does dry up. Good morning, Barbara. All right, so I'm going to dry this just a little itty bit, and then we're going to set it to the side. Whoops. And I did it pretty thin. Yeah, I will order some more trowels. We had a bunch on our website, and I think we sold them all out. But you can see how it gives you a really nice, smooth application. I love how you guys chit-chat. And I should get it out of here, out of the hole there in the middle. This works really good too if you guys don't have one of these and you're looking for something that will cover a large area. So this is going to give me very fine cracks because I applied it pretty thin. So you're not going to get deep cracks with this. Let me show you the difference. Only because I have a board right here. This is, when you apply it really thick, your cracks are deeper and longer. When you apply it thin, you get very fine, like hairline cracks, which I think is going to be great for this board. So I said I was going to move on, but let's just dry this because we're going to top coat it next, and then we'll set it to the side. And we're going to do a little bit of stenciling. We'll move on to the next board. I haven't quite figured out the next project yet, but I figured we'll figure it out as we go along. Just because, you know, we kind of roll by the seat of our pants around here. So if you guys are good for next week, we'll mix some colors. I'll show you some custom color mixes. I know Carolyn uses stamps a lot. She's really good with them. But I don't know if you're still here, Carolyn. Do you mix your own colors, or do you just use what's provided? It's cracking really nicely. So the main difference, off topic, and I know this has nothing to do with IOD, but a lot of you may be wondering, because a lot of you watch me on the main page and a lot of you are in my membership group, you're thinking, what's the difference between this and then the new cracking plaster? You'll get cracks with both. The type of crack is a little bit different, and the product is a little bit, this one, I have it here. This one is a little bit airier and fluffier and lighter. And again, because it's made for wall and furniture applications, you can see it's creamier. It's a creamier and a thinner viscosity. You can't tell by looking at my finger, but it's creamier and thinner than this. You can see this is, you can see how it's a bit thicker, okay? So that's the main difference. You'll get beautiful cracks with each one. I don't want you to think that you have to have all the new stuff. If you need it, if you're doing furniture or walls, you may want to invest in it because it is lighter. It's lighter, it's easier to spread, although that wasn't hard to spread. But you'll get beautiful cracks with both. So, you know, I'm not a big salesman. I'm more of an advocate for use of what you got. Then you can save your money for what you don't have. All right, we're almost done. The new one it takes a couple of hours to dry, depending on how thick you put it. No, this is the big size, Christy. They do come in smaller sizes. They do come in this size jar. I just got this one. This one was left over from the Atlanta retreat that I was teaching at. So, and then if you're doing furniture or walls, you want the big size. I can special order this size if you want it, but for most of us, it's too much product. It's too much product. But I'm just using it up because Teresa sent me some of the stuff from Atlanta before it came out to the public. We had a bunch left over from the class. All right, we have just this one little section to dry. And then I think we're going to top coat it. I don't think I want to paint it. A lot of the times I don't paint this, I leave it white. And once it's top coated, I just go ahead and add my glaze to it. So I got a very smooth application, so there's not a lot of texture in there, unlike my board from last night, which, let me show you, has a lot of texture because I did not get my application smooth intentionally. I wanted texture on that board. Can you see the difference? And I applied it thicker. You can see the thicker, the bigger cracks here. So it's a very adaptable product. You can really manipulate it however you want. This, I wanted it a little softer and thinner, and you can see how it's, how the application went on nice and smooth. And then we do have some longer cracks, but they're not necessarily deep because it's a very thin product, a very thin application. So you really can control that, which is good because, you know, we're women, we like to have control over stuff. So let's add some top coat just to seal that in. And then we will add some glaze to that when we get to that point. And now we're going to be putting a mold kind of in the center. And when the first time the cloche mold came out, I never saw it as a cloche. I saw it as an urn. And that's how we're going to be using it today. So I've already cast one, and I'll show you how I did that. I tried to do as much prep as possible because isn't that a good crackle? I know, I love it too. All right, now we don't need to dry this. Let's just set that to the side. And let's move on to the next board. I think I missed a few spots. It's hard to see on white. All right. Good enough, good enough, good enough. All right, next board. We're going to do a little bit of stenciling on this. I added decoupage this yesterday. Look at this adorable bunny set. 3042. It came with, I don't know, a little background, which I thought was cute, but I really wanted the focus to be other stuff. We're going to add some transfers to this, but we're going to put another layer underneath, and I want it to be very light. And I haven't really 100% decided on what stencil. I'm thinking cottage lace because I think it would look really cute with the bunnies. But we can also do some script. This is giving you good ideas for a piece I have to make for an art gag. Oh, awesome, Linda. Well, that makes me happy. So I haven't decided. I was thinking cottage lace originally, but this might be a little bit more mellow. What do you guys think? This is just a great neutral background. Believe it or not, this is too, but I haven't used this in a while, so I was a little itchy to use this. You guys, the first 3 votes I will choose. You guys get to pick. So, do we use Harmony? Do we use cottage lace? Harmony or cottage lace? Good morning, Lynn. Harmony, cottage lace. Let's see it. Oh, how fun, Linda. All right, maybe we'll do the first comment that I see. Because nobody, Harmony, Deb, see, I was going to do cottage lace, but we'll do Harmony. Thank you, Deb. Oh, see, now everybody's saying cottage lace. What if we did a little bit of both, maybe? Maybe we could do a little bit of both. Can we do both? No, let's keep it easy, Mara. Let's not get too ahead of myself. You guys don't do that to me. This is going to be very super, super neutral. It is not going to fight with my transfers at all. Both. Kathy Dean says both. Yeah, I might add it in. Maybe in through here. We'll do a little bit of cottage lace. Might be kind of fun. Maybe down here to do a little bit of cottage lace on the bottom. It's getting a little warm. Getting a little warm. Yeah, we'll do both. I don't know if it's crooked or not. I'll clean my stencil so I can't see if it's the same distance. Looks, yeah, that looks straighter. All right, let me take my jacket off. It's warm. It is warm. First hot flash kicked in. All right, stencil, we have color. Guys, we made it to 1,000 followers on our Diva Designs page, our new stencil page. So I'm super excited about that. 2 weeks from now, I'll be with you guys here Saturday morning at 9 a.m. And then the week after that, we'll be on the Diva Designs page. All right, offload, 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 offload. Can't say that enough. If you offload correctly, you can apply pressure and you can swirl your stencil. If you have too much paint and you start a swirling, you be a sad girl. If you don't know if this is enough, you could give it a quick pounce and offload some of it until you feel like it's light enough, right? And then you can go in and swirl. If your board is top coated, it's going to slide a lot easier. And I don't think this board is top coated. I think just over my bunny is top coated. And I don't even care if I miss a few spots, because this is just my first layer. Yeah, I love stenciling. You guys know that. I've had a love affair with stencils forever. Forever. All right. just want to get between his ears. Between the ears. So I can see my design here in the middle. And I don't have a lot of paint. In fact, I have such little paint, I'm actually putting a lot of pressure on this. Now is where I have to be careful once I load up my brush again. So I think I'm going to go I think I shifted my stencil. Maybe. Yep, I sure did. That's okay. Gotta hang on to that. And then I think I gotta go between the ears up here. And again, I'm okay if I don't get every little spot covered. Of course, you could use a smaller brush, but I know how much paint I've got on here. I know I don't have a lot. So, and I do have a little here. I top coated my board. So I can remove that. Okay, I'm happy with that so far. All right, now let's go in with maybe a little bit of this. Or do we want to put this more at the bottom? I think I like it over here. To get this here, but I don't want it to go on my bunny. So doesn't have to be exact. A little bit goes over. Don't stress it. It's no big whoop. Good morning, Mary. I'm glad you guys are joining me on a Saturday. All right. And I think this color is going to be good. Nice and neutral. Oops. Didn't tape it down. Let's see if we like this. And you know what? We don't like it, no big deal. We'll just paint over it. Because it's just paint. I wasn't planning on doing this, but why not? I was originally thinking cottage lace would be the one. Just because I haven't used it in a while. I do really love it. Such a great neutral. Yeah, I like that. I'm not mad at that. Maybe I want this to come down a little bit more. Maybe just a little bit. Just right to about here, like. Yeah. There it is. All right, let's go back to this. This is going to be covered up, so it really doesn't matter what side I choose, to be honest with you. But I do want to take this off here. So in essence, this is masking, right? And I could take that off, but I'm just going to be mindful and just not go over that. A lot of this, like I said, is going to get covered up with a transfer. I don't know exactly how much, but I didn't want to leave a whole lot of open space. So a lot of the times I do a very, very neutral background so that if there is an open space, it doesn't look like I left a spot out. But then I tend to like busier designs anyway. But you know what? If this is too much for you, you don't need to do that. But you know, I add a lot of stuff. Actually, I really like that. I got one little spot here that I didn't get. There we go. All right. Let's remove that. And that. And that. So those of you who wanted both, here you go. So we have Harmony at the top, Cottage Lace at the bottom. And I think it's a really nice mix. I think it's a good blend. All right, now we've got a top to go with this because we're laying on a transfer. Let me just dry it. It dries pretty quickly. I knew what you meant. I knew what you meant, Christy. You need to, I was going to ask you the other day, I was thinking about this. I don't know if I wrote those dates down in my calendar. Can you just text me those dates, the Palm Spring dates, please? Yeah, it is pretty, huh? It is pretty. It's neutral. I mean, this could, if you wanted to stop here, you could, but because we're in an IOD class and we haven't added any IOD to that, I feel like we need to keep going. We need to keep going. But that particular transfer, believe it or not, has so much meat in it. There's so much in the Lost Garden transfer that I really think it could last and last and last. It's like the project that keeps on giving. Oh man, I put my top coat brush in the water already. I'm not sure where my transfers are going, so I'm just going to transfer top coat all over. That was a lot faster. All right. Just get where I have a couple of blobs. All right. Am I missing any comments? Let me look what you guys are saying. I love cottage lace too. I gotta tell you, and I'm not just saying this because I made it. It looks good in every single color. Every single color. I'll put this on the floor and let that dry with my fan. All right, back to this one. Antiquing gel. I feel like maybe we could use it after. Now it looks like they're sitting on the shelf. Yeah, it kind of does, doesn't it? All right, now, if you've watched me for any length of time, you probably, if you're in my membership group, we did these two projects in group last fall when this first came out. So we took our cloche mold. Okay, I do too, Patty. We took our cloche mold, which goes this way and it has a point. We turned it upside down. I took half a piece from one mold, half a piece from another mold, and we created this. This particular one, I used decoupage paper on, and then I added the Hello Pumpkin mold, okay? This one here, put that there. This one here, we did stencil, mold, transfer, and I actually stamped. This is from the Heavenly Stamp. I stamped a piece of paper and then I decoupaged it on there. But you can see I used two different. Did I use two different? Yes, I used two different. This one is a little wider. This one is a little narrower. But you can do it with either one. You can do it with either one. So that's kind of what we're going to do today. And let me show you, if you've not done this before, it's super fun. Looks like I used this one here and then this one here. So if you're going to put it, redesign it and make it like an urn, you're going to have to use this piece. You can use any one of them. I mean, you can even use that as an urn. But either one of these is usually my go-to. I tend to shy away from this because it's got those lines in there, and I feel like it's hard to design around it unless you're decoupaging something underneath it. But I just took a little bit of clay and I popped it right here, and then I put a piece of clay and I popped it right here. I only cast this and I only cast this, and then you put them together and voila. You want to make sure where you mark them, where you cut them off, once they come out, if there's any trimming that needs to be done, go ahead and do it then. But you can see your cloche is now an urn. All right, so we're going to be working with this. And we may add some transfers on that. You know what I wanted to do? I wanted to get the Katharina transfer. It's next door. I might add that next week. Let's see. I'm not a big fan of putting things right smack in the middle. I tend to put things a little bit offset. I don't know why. I just do. I just think it looks a little bit more interesting. And then I just cast a bunch of these. from the blossom. And I know we used this last time, but I was going to use the strawberry mold. I only have 2 left in stock, and I did not take one for myself, so I'm going to reorder it. But you could totally substitute the, what the heck, I want to call it strawberries, but it's not called strawberries. It is wild berries, close. You could totally do this with the wild berries mold. I think it would be absolutely darling to have a bunch of berries spilling out over that urn. Hi, Debbie. But again, I didn't want to pull one from my inventory. It will work just as easily, and you get the idea. The whole point is just to inspire you just to do something a little bit different with your molds. Good to know how to stop the resin with clay. Yeah, you can even throw some hot glue in there. Anything. Anything. In fact, I even did that with some of these. Some of these I didn't cast all the way down because I knew, you just ordered the strawberry mold? Awesome. I knew that I would not use those stems. More than likely, I'm going to cut these stems off. So I cast these last night. I took them home. I added bonding primer. They're ready to go. We're going to make a really cute little arrangement. But there's a lot of sticks. And when I first put it in there, I thought, oh, that's really cute. But it looked like this, like all the sticks with all the flowers. So I'd like to have, it's very hard to layer your resin on top of each other because it's not flexible and it doesn't lay down. I mean, even if this wasn't in the case, let me just show you. You know, at best you could do this, right? Pretend this was an urn down here. I had a couple other pieces. But you can't really layer on top like that. So I'm really wanting a layered look. So I'm going to mix resin and clay together because that will allow me to melt it on top. And obviously that's something I couldn't do ahead of time. But can you see what I mean? How it just kind of looks like this? Like it doesn't look very natural, at least not to me. It doesn't look very natural. So I really want a natural looking arrangement. And I also cast some of the verdigris molds thinking we can put them down here. But again, I think I'm going to wind up doing those in clay because, and I actually did a third one of this in black that was really cool, but it sold. Actually, I did 2 more of these, and I think they sold at auction. So I've only got 2 left. But I love the technique so much, I've actually done it 4 times. This is my 5th time doing this. So we're going to make some in clay. But before we do that, I would like to zhuzh up my urn. And I think what we're going to do is, now I just kind of decided this last minute. Initially I was going to put a transfer on here, and I thought, no, because we still have a bunch of stamps to use. I thought maybe we can stamp one of these stamps on it. This is from the Countryside Memoirs set. I mean, that's pretty. Let's just see. I haven't used this. I just took this one out of inventory. I don't do a whole lot of smalls. I really do love this. And then we could put words in there. We can decoupage something in there. Let me think. What's my flavor of this going to be? I should have probably bought some scraps and maybe decoupaged over the scraps. Let's see what I got underneath my desk. Do I have a paper? Oh, I do. Let's see. What's this one? Well, that's kind of fun. I guess we could do it in blues. Or we can just stamp on it. Let's just see. Let's just see what it'll fit. That one will fit. It's a little boring. That one will fit. I love watching and hearing you craft. Thank you. Thank you, Robin. That one will fit. That's kind of pretty. that one will fit. I do really love these though. I think I like this one. I think I like this one, but instead of the butterfly, I think I want to put the bird in there. I think. When I have time, will you measure that tag? Charlotte, it is on our website, and there's a bigger one. Let's see if the measurements are on the back, because I haven't taken the back off. Nope, it doesn't say. There's a large tag and there's an extra large tag, and this one is the large. Let me see if I have I usually have a ruler here at my work table. So this is about 13 inches by 13 by 8.5. 13 by 8.5. Because I'll probably forget later. Honestly, I will. First time you use your stamps, you need to sand them in both directions. So these are all the stamps that come in the Countryside Memoir set. I don't do a whole lot of smalls. I'm not a scrapbooker. I don't make journals. I have no clue what to do with them after I've made them, and they're too persnickety. I just don't have a use for them. But I feel like in designs like this is where they really shine for me. So 220 is fine. And what this does is it opens up the porosity of your stamp, removes the factory finish, and lets it get ready for your paint or whatever you're going to be using. So I did that direction, and I do this direction, and then we'll just give it a little swipey-wipey. Good to go. I am going to put it on a thin mount. Someone asked me the other day, how do you get straight lines? I think it was in our membership group. I think it was Kathleen. Thin mounts are your best friends. It's been a while since I used stamps. There's so many stamps, it's overwhelming for me, so I tend to just shy away from them. Because then I gotta go find it and figure out the box. I probably have those 12 by 12 Michaels or Joann's or Hobby Lobby boxes is how I store my stamps. And I probably have at least a dozen of them. And that's gonna be too big. That's gonna be too big. All right, maybe we will do the butterfly after all. Or. Let's see what else. What else we got? What other choices we got happening? There's a lot of little things you can do in there. Just trying to decide what I want. That almost looks like one of the little blossoms. I guess we'll stick with there's a lot of really cute little stamps in here. I'm just kind of looking at it now. All right, I guess we'll stick with the butterfly. I'm not mad at the butterfly. But I don't want them straight. All right, now, am I missing any questions? Use one of your, let me see, I missed something. Use one of your jewelry decoupage small. I know I should, but I don't have them here because I didn't think through that. What I was going to do was decoupage of paper on it, and I thought, no, I've already done that. I've already done that, and I still could do this, but then I'm limited to blues. I could stamp right over that. And then add my butterfly. No, let's just do it. They do come with masks. Each one has a mask. So it's a set of 4 stamps and 4 masks. I think all the IOD stamps moving forward as of, I want to say, a year or 2 ago come with masks. I totally shredded that piece of paper. All right, so let's get our ink. We're going to do black ink. I'm going to show you a really easy way to decoupage and stamp on a curved surface. White tissue paper is your best friend. It's a lot easier than having to stamp on a curved surface. You could do the bird and mask it. Yeah, I know. I know it. I'm trying to be easy. Easy like Sunday morning. On Saturday. All right. Hold with one hand. Press with the other. Good. Do you like the mask we made ourselves early in your class? Yes. I do too, Robin. These are, you know, I mean, I get it. They're a little on the flimsy side. Look at that. That actually went through all the way to my... All right, we're going to dry that. If I hate it, I'm going to just decoupage over it. What the heck? None of my dryers are on? Do I have power? I should have done it up at the top. That's all right. I do love the Heavenly Stamp. I should have done that one. But again, we're in an IOD class, so I'm supposed to be using the new stuff, right? But you can stamp whatever you want. They're always slip sliding away from you. The stamps or the masks. You have to take a little piece of tape, Robin. Take a little tiny piece of painter's tape and just make like one of these. Because they do slip. They're little slippery buggers. A little tiny like this, and put it underneath your mask when you're taping it down, and then it's not going to slip on you. All right, now. bring my squeegee. Got a pile here of stuff. Let's decoupage this. You're welcome. Good morning, Shauna. Good to see you here. Got 12 brushes with top coat on them in my dirty water. Probably should paint that before. I'm going to paint it black, and I think we're going to do, I don't know, what color should we make that board? What color? Should we do it neutrals? Should we do it black? Should we do it in blues? I think I do want this in gold though, so let's paint that in black first before I decoupage it. Get a little tiny, teeny brush. Probably could use one smaller than this, but that's okay. This is a new paint in the shop. We did send a bunch of them back because they were hard. But the Art Alchemy Impasto, the pitch black is really the blackest black. So it's a nice black, and I'm going to do this in gold, which is why I'm doing it in black first, because my gold is going to pop over that. So this project will probably finish next Saturday, but the other one I think we'll finish today. We'll get that done today. But we still have another hour, so let's just see what we can get done. I'd like to get at least the molds on this, especially if we're going to be doing them in clay. The stamp tissues show up on black. Well, anytime you're decoupaging, Hattie, you want to decoupage over a light surface, white or cream or light color. You can decoupage over darker surfaces. And it gets, if you have a very transparent paper or like a white paper, it's a very cool effect to decoupage over. Decoupage over a color. All right, here's where it's going to get persnickety. I should take that off. I should. Oh. Now you need another coffee? It's not enamel. It is an acrylic body paint. Dang it, I didn't want to do that area right there. I hate fussy painting. My girls know that. Just as soon poke my eye out than do all this little tiny painting. Makes me cuckoo bananas. My eyes, first of all, I think that's what it is. The issue is my eyes don't see all that. I could use a coffee too. I had one this morning, but it's definitely a 2-cup day. I don't know what color this is going to be, so I probably should have painted the whole thing in the background color and then just went in with my black, but that would be too easy. That would be too easy. I mean, more than likely our flowers will be in pinks. because they're blossoms. They're cherry blossoms. But I don't necessarily want to do this in pink. I don't know, maybe turquoise would be pretty. We just got a new color in. Where is it? Do I have it on my desk? It's really pretty. It's called Teal Pink. Interesting name. Sorry, I'm missing your comments. My eyes are like crossing over here. Oi. Oi is all I gotta say. Can't tell if that's a... It is, okay. Hard to see it. Doesn't take very much paint. I could do light pink to hot. Well, there's an idea. I like that idea. Going to persnickety paint this for much longer because I still have to do all those blossoms, and you know I'm doing all those off camera. All right. Almost done. Almost. Did I put that sealer on that resin first so it adheres? I use the bonding primer, Charlotte. I use the Pentart bonding primer. Anytime you're painting on resin, you cannot go right over that with paint. It will peel off. You either need to use bonding primer or a heavy body gesso. We just got a white and a black gesso, and I tried it the other day in group, and it worked really good over my molds. And I like the black. All right, I'm good with that. I feel like I need my little checking brush for this. Oh, my eyes. I feel like I'm squinting my eyes. Ooh, man, oh man, the shivets. Alright, let's just fill this in a little bit more. And then we're going to go over that with gold. And it's really going to pop it. Or maybe silver. Or maybe pink. But either way. You bought the black and white after I saw you use it. I can't wait. Yes! Laurel, I think you should be getting it soon. Alright, so that's step one. We are going to decoupage this on there now. Where'd my butterfly go? Oh, here he is. I think I want to add some color behind that. I don't think I want that black and white. Let's see what I got here. Let's see. And I certainly don't want to paint that in after. That's for sure. What do I have in my little arsenal? Do I take one out of inventory? That is the $64,000 question. Or do I just use what I have in front of me? All right, let me go look. Sit tight just a second. Let me see. Let's see what we got. I wonder what it would look like with this over it. Let's try it. Let's try it. Typically, I would add my color after. We just talked about decoupaging under colors. Is that upside down? I don't know what you mean. Is what upside down? It is upside down because we're making it an urn, Charlotte. It's not going to be a cloche. It's going to be an urn. This is the delicate rose gold. Yes, rose gold metallic in the delicates. This is in the Pent Art line. Just have to remember to take that out of inventory. Then that means this is going to have to be rose gold in there. Oh yeah, a little brush, I'm going to need that. All right, let's try that. Oh, the butterfly wreath, no. All right, so this is, let me put that one back. Dries pretty quick. Love this pink. Look at how pretty that is. Let's see what it looks like when we decoupage over it. So it's going to tone this down, but it might look kind of cool. Almost kind of like a muted. not mad at it, y'all. I think it's kind of cool looking. Hi, Sheila. So you can see how some of that color telegraphs through. If I put a high gloss top coat on it, you're going to see it. This is just tissue paper. Charlotte, this is tissue paper. I mean, Shauna, just regular gift wrap paper. We stamped on it. It's a lot easier to stamp on a curved surface if you stamp on paper first and then decoupage. Let's dry that, sand it. I can go back in and paint over this paper now. I like that little hint of pink underneath though. I think it would have been pretty in blue or maybe in a light green. But I was itching to try that paint. So this is plain. You can get a pack of tissue paper. I typically get big packs after Christmas because they're on sale, really cheap. And they're great for stamping, and they're great to practice stamping, and they're great for decoupaging onto curved surfaces. And here's the thing, they're so cheap that if you mess it up, you can do it again until you like it. Just stuck my finger in the black paint. So like if you're stamping on, you want to stamp on a pot? Yeah, exactly, Barbara. You didn't know you can stamp on tissue paper without bleeding? Yes, you can. So look at this one. This one here is the Heavenly stamp, stamped onto tissue paper and then decoupaged onto the surface. Bonding primer and gesso, yes, they do. You see that? And then we added a little bit of the Crackalour stamp in there. So it is the easiest way to practice stamping and decoupaging on curved surfaces. Or stamping on curved surfaces. All right, now this is going to fit to the piece, the urn piece. Oh gosh, I just don't know how I misplace things that quickly. That's going to go onto there, and you would have never thought of doing that. Yeah, absolutely. Well, good. I'm glad you got some good tips. All right, so that's going to be our project for that, and then I will, I really want to paint these before I put them on my board, so we might save that to next week, and then let's go back to this project, and let's get out our transfers. Let's get a transfer stick. Out. All right. transfer stick, where are you? Molds. I tell you what, those things are like, they hide on you. I'm good. Let me grab one. I'm actually going to grab one from here. And then I'll put it back. Here we go. Do you cut out the bunnies? I did cut them out, Deb. I did cut them out. There was a really cute background on there, but it was blues and pinks and browns, and I didn't really want to use that. So this is as far as I've gotten here. I don't know what else is going on there, but... It's been a while since I've used transfers. I don't think I've used transfers since the release, believe it or not. I don't know why. It seems like everything happened at once. I put a piece of tape on the end of your transfer stick. You can't crackle over transfers. Let me show you. It just needs to be sealed really well. Really well. This is fine line crackle over transfers. So you have to seal it first before you apply your step one, but you absolutely can. I think this is going to be really sweet, very springy. You're welcome, Donna. Yeah, with the right prep, you could pretty much almost do anything. But prep is the key. If you're going to be doing that, make sure your top coat is good and dry. I would say that's the biggest mistake that people have with transfers, is they don't let that top coat dry long enough. How cute is that? How cute. What's my favorite product to use to bring out the fine lines in the crackle? I love the antique paste, the Pentart antique paste in Umber. Umber is, let me see, I think that's the name of it. Umber. That's kind of my go-to. Umbra. It's this one. Do I have one open here? No, I don't have one open here. But that's typically what I use in all my fine line crackle. It's just a very aged kind of look. The background under the bunnies is a canvas board, an 11 by 14 canvas board. It's kind of my favorite thing to create on because I feel like they're frame ready. You can just pop that right into a frame and it just makes it really easy. All right, let's add some more. What do we want to add now? Hi, Kathy. What do we want to add? I want to add something down here. I don't know what. This might be kind of pretty. That might be kind of pretty. There's so much meat in this transfer. I don't know that I want to do yellow, but that might be kind of pretty too. No, I think this is the one. Okay, so now I'm really looking at this transfer a little bit more closely. It's gorgeous, by the way. That would be really pretty, but I don't think it would take up enough. But what I'm noticing is there's 2 of these images and there's 2 of these images. So if you wanted to create it on a bigger board, and I know a lot of times you'll see this transfer used on furniture. Look at all the meat in there, you guys. There's a lot of meat. That's like meaty, meaty, meaty. And I think I want to do this one. Although that's kind of cool too. But let's start with this. I don't know if I'm going to use all of this, but I do like this big. Hey, Janet, I do like this piece at the bottom. Really, I do. That's kind of fun. Let's see. I think we should do it. Now, some of this transfer is going to go up over the bunnies. Are we okay with that, or do we cut it off? Maybe we should cut it off and add it. Add it after if we want. Let's do it. Let's do it the safe way. Let's cut this off right here. And then if we want it, we'll add it back. Or maybe we'll add it somewhere else. I feel like you're like a surgeon doing this. This transfer is called Lost Garden. Lost Garden. Oh, it's beautiful. I think it's perfect. Just like that. Very good. All right, where'd that transfer stick go now? Here it is. Okay, I do see a piece that's not going anywhere. So I think I'm going to cut this off right here. Get off of there before you stick. Come on. Poopity poop. There we go. Laurel. Hush! Hush, hush, hush. A skilled surgeon, not a butcher. You can transfer over paper. You can transfer obviously over paint. You can layer transfer over transfer. You can transfer on metal. You can transfer on glass. You do not top coat glass, and usually you can get away with not top coating metal, but typically your transfers need to go over a top coated surface. They need a little bit of tooth to hang on to. Now you can see that stencil kind of took the backstage to this piece. Actually, I think I'm going to cut this off right here. Reposition this, because it's just kind of hanging off my board. You're right. You're right. No body parts have been harmed in the making of this video. To wrap that around my edge. Yet. It ain't over. Actually, this one I think is going to be pretty much done unless we decide to add a little crown to her. But you guys, how easy was this? This is so easy. And it looks a lot complicated than it actually is. And that's the best part of it. It actually makes you look like you know what you're doing. But you really, you know, look at me. You don't really have to. I love this little pop of green in there. Oh, when transferring onto glass, you do not top coat, but do you do anything over the transfer? No, Deb. Transfer is the only thing. It's typically considered off-label because you don't want to top coat over it or under it because you're going to cloud your glass. Sometimes people will take a little bit of top coat and just lightly transfer over, lightly top coat over the transfer. And then this will get top coated once it's done. But we may, I was going to say we may add some crackle on there, the crackle stamp, but I don't think there's room. I don't think there's room for any of this. And where's that little leaf? This leaf could go here. Yeah, a lot of my gals in membership group take notes. They have a notebook. And it is helpful when you're trying to remember stuff. I don't know that I need that there, to be honest with you. And it's only a half a leaf. No, I think I'm going to leave it out. I think I'm going to leave it out. And then do we want this piece kind of going up here? No, because it's going to cover my bunny. You know, I kind of like that spot open. I feel like it gives you a place for your eye to rest. I don't have my stapler, but here's another great tip. Pieces that you're not going to be using, pieces that get separated from your transfer book, go ahead. I used to tape them, but it was a pain in the tuchus, to be honest with you. I just staple them now. I'll take my staple gun and I'll put a staple here, here, and here, and then it stays together. All right, do we need anything else on this? So you can see the stencil, especially the cottage lace in the background, really kind of took second place. But Harmony is in the background there. We used the Bunny's decoupage paper 3042. and then the Lost Garden transfer. And of course you'll see that cottage lace kind of peeking through so that it doesn't look like there's any empty spaces. It really does look like a wild garden. It really does. I like it. It's simple, easy to do. Can we embellish this? Yeah, I totally could. I can go in with my paint and paint over this, add some highlights, lowlights, and shading. I can add a crown to her. You're dying to do the canvas technique you and Vasilis taught, but those darn taxes have gotten. No kidding, Barbara. No kidding. If I'm putting on crackle paste on a canvas, do I need to put something under it first? No. No, you got to use your cracking primer, Linda. You have to use your cracking primer. If you want a certain color to poke through, I don't typically paint underneath because I usually add my antiquing gel over my cracking. Where's my cracking board? My cracked board is here. The writing stencil, Kathy, is called Harmony. You can see here, I am not going to put paint first because I'm going to fill in these cracks. But before you just put down cracking paste, you need a cracking primer first, okay? Cracking primer, then cracking paste, and then you can go in with your antiquing gel or your wax. But this one is actually going to have this on it. I don't know what else is going to be here. I feel like we need to, maybe we'll use a little bit more of that Lost Garden transfer. We will finish this up next week and then start a few more projects. And then I showed you how you just put it on the whole canvas and see if you can get it off right away, Linda. See if you can get it off. And then I'll probably, more than likely, I'll put this to the side. But I want to add some clay flowers on top of my resin flowers because I really want to layer. I can't really layer that because it's too bulky. It's too bulky. So this is where you want to mix resin and clay together, or you could just do it in clay. But I wanted to get a jump start on the project, so I just cast a bunch of these in resin. And then more than likely, I'm going to add some of these leaves as well. And then we'll put something up here. Maybe we'll stencil over it again. I don't know. I'm open for suggestions. Maybe we'll use one of the other transfers. What's left? I don't have the Wild Loman. It is out of stock, and I'm out of it. So it probably won't be that. Maybe some of the Botanist. I'm trying to use all the new products. Anyway, you guys, if you don't have any questions, I will see you next week right here, 9 o'clock. This is where we're going so far with this. We have 2 boards that we worked on today. If you're going to catch the replay again, we added cracking paste. I showed you guys how to make urns, okay, so that you can use your cloche mold in a different way. If you want to decoupage over it, it's really beautiful. This is from the new Heavenly stamp. Decoupage your tissue paper, then add it, and you can see we're actually painted in those wings. So you can certainly paint over your paper again. Yes, please follow Diva Designs. I so appreciate it. And then this was our second board. We added Harmony to the top, Cottage Lace to the bottom, which again is taking center stage. You really don't see it except for right here. And I actually like that there. We're going to leave that in there. Just because I think it makes it a little bit interesting and it keeps your eye just kind of moving around the board. Okay, guys, I have to go and prep for my next live at noon. Come and watch me. And I'll see you back here next week, 9 o'clock. Ciao for now. Bye.